Ready with them?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm ready for the report, for the statement by CPA Mayaka on taxes at the airport.
Pardon?
I am ready with the statement sought by CPA Mayaka on harassment of passengers at the airport. I'm trying to catch my breath.
She asked two.
Yes.
Are you ready with both?
I am ready with one.
One on cryptocurrencies.
The one on cryptocurrencies, the Central Bank of Kenya and Treasury had requested for more time. So we'll be ready with that for next week.
So go ahead and give the one on Revenue Authority.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Irene Mayaka MP on the 8th of November 2023 requested a statement from the Chairperson, the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning, on the directive seeking to tax travelers or passengers arriving in the country from international destinations to Jomo Kenyatta International Airport with items worth USD 500 and above. In particular, Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Member wanted to know the following. One, what was the legal basis and framework for customs and duties directive, particularly the USD 500 on its or its equivalent in Kenya shillings value cap for any used and personal items? And two, what steps have been taken to ensure that the Customs and Duties Directive is enforced within the boundaries of existing laws and regulations, and what legal safeguards are in place to prevent arbitrary actions by authorities? Honorable Speaker, I wish to respond as follows. From the onset, Honorable Speaker, I wish to say that besides revenue collection, Kenya Revenue Authority is mandated to facilitate trade and secure the borders. This is done in line with relevant tax regulations, written laws, and specified provisions of the written laws. Honorable Speaker, customs management in Kenya, being a member state of East African Community, is guided by the East African Community Customs Management Act of 2004. And this, Honorable Speaker, the ECMA is a regional law applicable to all East African partner states. The Kenya Revenue Authority is an implementing body of the Act and facilitates the movement of people and goods in line with the various provisions of the East African Community Customs Management Act, ECMA of 2004. Honorable Speaker, the matter in question relates to customs management, particularly as far as passengers arriving in the country and concession entitlement available to them. The fifth schedule of the East African Community Customs Management Act makes provisions for the categorization of passengers arriving in the country in concessions and entitlement available to them. Section 44, 45, and 46 of East African Customs Management Act of 2004 provide how passenger clearance process as a member state's port of entry shall be conducted and the obligations of the passengers of each category. Section 44, I read verbatim, Honorable Speaker, provides as follows. 44.1, a person shall not disembark from an aircraft or vessel except at a place appointed in accordance with Section 11 of this Act. And two, the following persons on landing at any point or place from an aircraft or vessel which has arrived from or called at a foreign port shall, subject to Section 46, proceed forthwith to the baggage room or other place set aside for the examination of baggage, and they remain until they receive the permission of the proper officer to leave that room or other place. It further provides A, that any person who is disembarking at the port or place, or any person, including any person who is returning ashore, who has any uncustoms goods in his possession, whether upon his person or in his baggage, the crew of an aircraft or vessel who are leaving that aircraft or vessel either temporarily or for other reason, and wish to remove their baggage or part thereof from the aircraft or vessel. D, any person who is temporarily leaving that aircraft or vessel and wished to remove from his baggage or any part thereof. E, any person who may be required by proper officer to do so. And then Section 3, the Commissioner may require the owner or agent of an aircraft or vessel conveying passengers to provide advanced passenger information prior to the arrival of such aircraft or vessel. And 4, any person who contravenes this section commits an offense. Honorable Speaker, the import of these provisions gives the category of persons who are required to report to customs as follows. Category A person who is disembarking on that port or place. B, any person who is returning ashore, who has any uncustomed goods in his possession, whether upon his person or in his baggage. C, the crew of an aircraft or vessel who are leaving that aircraft or vessel either temporarily or for any other reason and wish to remove the baggage or part thereof from the aircraft or vessel. D, any person who is temporarily leaving that aircraft or vessel and wish to remove from his baggage or part thereof. And E, any other person who may be required by proper officer to do so. Honorable Speaker, for ease of implementation, passengers are divided as provided in the table below. Category A, Honorable Speaker, provides for diplomatic and first arrivals to Kenya who intend to change their residence to Kenya for various reasons, such as military and aid agencies, among others. Category B, these are visitors to Kenya on temporary visits, not extending 3 months. Category C, these are returning residents and passengers not included in the category A and B. Honorable Speaker, these categories of persons are given their allowable concessions under provisions of Part B of the 5th Schedule to the ICMA Act of 2004, Item 5, subparagraph 1 to 9. For purposes of payment of customs duty, passengers are exempt on goods up to the value of USD 500 when imported by the traveler in his or her accompanied baggage or upon his or her visa. In addition to the above, the passengers are allowed to import duty-free the following with limited quantities of the following items. 1, spirits or liquor, a limit of 1 liter, wine, a limit of 2 liters, perfume, a limit of half a liter, cigars and cigarettes, a limit of 250 grams in total. Honorable Speaker, only passengers who have attained the age of 18 are eligible to import the listed items, and taxes will be payable for quantities in excess of the above. In case the passenger has customs goods that don't meet the criteria above, the tax payable are determined based on the tariff classification and value of goods. The passenger is also required to demonstrate the actual price paid for the goods. A passenger upon arrival to Kenya should declare the following items: items purchased and carried with them upon return to Kenya, items bought in duty-free shops or in the ship or on the plane, repairs or alterations on 80 items you took abroad and then brought back if the repairs or alterations were performed free of charge, items brought home for someone else including gifts, items intended for sale or use or trade including business merchandise taken out of Kenya on your trip, currency and monetary instruments above $10,000 or foreign equivalent, items that are brought in as temporary imports, goods for the exhibition which are to be returned in an unaltered state, and filming equipment which is allowed in the country on a temporary basis. Prohibited items as per the Act include false money, counterfeit money, pornographic material and media, narcotic drugs, used tires for light commercial vehicles, among others. Restricted items, Honorable Speaker, one is required to have a permit for restricted items, and these restricted items include arms, ammunitions, historical artifacts, and medicaments for sale, among others. Section 45 of ICMA Act provides for a dual channel clearance system, mainly a green channel for passengers with nothing to declare, and a red channel for passengers carrying dutiable or restricted goods. Section 45(1) specifically provides that there shall be established at every place of arrival and within the baggage room at every major port a dual channel system, which will consist of a green channel for passengers who have nothing to declare or with baggage consisting of only goods within the prescribed passenger allowance as provided for in Part B of the 5th Schedule of this Act, and 2, a red channel for passengers carrying dutiable or restricted goods, provided that crew members of vessels or aircraft shall use the red channel. Honorable Speaker, this provision establishes the channels that passenger categories should follow when passing through customs. Green channel is for passengers with nothing to declare or with baggage consisting on only goods within the prescribed passenger allowance as provided for in Part B of the 5th Schedule of this Act. B, red channel for passengers carrying dutiable or restricted goods, provided that crew members of vessel or carefreight shall use the red channel. C, a person with uncustomed goods in his or her possession who should then take to the appointed place for examination of baggage. And D, a person shall not remove any baggage or goods from the baggage room without the authorization of the proper officer of customs. Honorable Speaker, to enhance the efficiency of passenger clearance at the terminals, KRA has stationed non-intrusive scanners across all ports of entry to aid verification of goods to ensure that goods imported into the country are correctly declared, not only for taxation purposes, but also for the safety of Kenyans. Honorable Speaker, where imported goods are subject to customs duty, passengers are required to declare the actual price of the items, as the valuation of the tax to be paid is based on the actual price paid for the imported goods. Passengers have a right to query the assessed customs duties and may seek an explanation from the customs officer. Honorable Speaker, customs duties are paid at appointed banks located within the terminals or through a mobile banking platform after the generation of the electronic payment receipt. Customs officer at the airport will generate the payment slip, which is available at the bank for ease of payment. In case, Honorable Speaker, a passenger is not to make the payment on the spot for dutiable goods or obtain the relevant authorization for restricted items, the same goods are deposited in the customs warehouse to allow the passengers to take necessary steps to comply with the legal requirements, failing which the goods shall be disposed of in the manner prescribed under ECMA Act of 2004. Honorable Speaker, through its surveillance at the border points, Kenya Revenue Authority has reduced the smuggling of restricted and prohibited goods, including counterfeit, substandard goods, narcotic drugs, among others. Illicit trade is known to deprive government the so much needed revenue. Illegal trade also kills local industries and jeopardizes customers' health and safety. Honorable Speaker, to enhance with these provisions of the Act, KRA implements the following measures. 1, non-intrusive scanning of goods at the passenger terminals. 2, awareness and sensitization of tourist passengers and general public through diaspora webinars, frequently asked questions through their website, media tours, and other publicity material. Stakeholder engagement with specific agencies and interest groups to enhance awareness of such requirements. For example, the requirement by Kenya Film Classification Board and the Kenya Film Commission. Deploying customer satisfaction surveys to ensure customer experience, and institutionalizing collaboration with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Foreign and Diaspora Affairs to reach Kenyans living abroad and tourists intending to travel back into the country. Honorable Speaker, consequently, the committee will be bringing a motion to this House seeking to cause the Cabinet Secretary, National Treasury, to request and to start the amendment of the East African Customs Management Act of 2004 in respect to the USD 500 value cap to bring it to the current economic reality. The committee has implored on the Kenya Revenue Authority to undertake and refrain their staff at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport and other ports of entry on customer filling and deploy use of non-intrusive technology for scanning for efficiency of customs management. Honorable Speaker, it was worth noting that Kenya Revenue Authority has issued several public notices to sensitize the members of the public on the passenger entailment and concession, hence reducing the complaints at the port of entries. In summary, Honorable Speaker, we are saying that we engage the relevant authorities. It's an issue of law, but that law is outdated. It's an ECMA Act of 2004. The limit of $500 is too little. It needs to be changed to come in reality with the current situation. And the Kenya Revenue Authority staff at the airport should refrain themselves from harassing passengers, should refrain themselves in seeking to collect some very little revenues at the expense of harassing our men and women in the diaspora who are coming back home, and tourists who, consequently, the taxes and the revenues would collect by us being a marketable destination globally would be more than the 8 million shillings they are collecting per month on this particular tax. And since we employed on KRA on this, feedback from customers arriving in JKA, they are talking about an improved customer experience, and that harassment of goods, Honorable Speaker, have actually and substantially reduced. We have also implored on them to, now that they are implementing this act, to have the red and the green channel so that it's clear to passengers. With that, I submit, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Chairman. Order, honorable members, your conversations are above average today. Can you reduce your conversations? Wanjala.